Don't show yourself here again.
God bless you, sir.
Greetings.
Do you know where I can find Nickvard? The scribe said you might know.
Erazim is suddenly interested in Nickvard and me. You don't say. But when I need him to read something for me, he never has the time. I'm sorry.
I was asking about Nickvard.
Aye, I heard you. Say, can you read?
I can.
In that case, would you mind reading this message I have from Nickvard?
Show me. Dear Mistress of the Chambers. What is it?
Oh, what I wouldn't give to get messages from someone else. Say, Lord Capon. Never mind. Read on. Though I reckon it interests you more than me.
Persevere. We shall soon escape the dungeon of those two women. Cursed fate, however, has placed an obstacle in my way. The heat of the Lightbringer's potion is working, and I can feel my insides being reborn. But when the last remnants of old age left my body, something else was washed away with them.
How much longer is it?
Not much. My damn clumsiness has sent all of the Lightbringer's secrets into the void, but fear not, I shall get them back. May this be the first task on the road to your liberation. That's it.
Beautiful.
That was complete nonsense. I was embarrassed to read it.
Imagine how I felt having to listen to it.
But what does it mean? Can you explain any of it to me?
Lord Liebach has taken a liking to me. I suggested to him it wasn't proper for a noble to have an affair with a maid. He thought I meant he was too old for me. But then he found what he calls the Lightbringer's potion book. He said it would light a flame in him that would burn out all that's old. So I suppose it worked. Hooray!
I know the book he's talking about, but what does he mean, into the void?
Look, can we stop talking about this? I feel a little uncomfortable here talking about some old lovelorn nobleman.
I understand. Just one more thing, please. When was the last time you saw Nickvard? And where?
The last time was in the Knight's Hall, but that was a long time ago. I found that message a few days ago. Hard to say where he's off to.
Thanks anyway. That should do it. I hope I'm doing this right. Another privy?
I'm sorry.
That should do it. The place you sent me to was just another privy. I'm starting to lose my patience.
Oops, excuse me and my befuddled mind, I've messed up again.
You're just messing with me. People are scared, rumours are spreading, and you're sending me from one privy to another.
It was just a little misunderstanding.
Where the hell are these demons? Tell me.
Look around the staircase leading to the scribe's chamber, near the maid's quarters. It's between the palace below the crone and the tower. That reeking, hellish door must be hidden there.
I swear, if this is another shitter...
Of course not. I wouldn't dare threaten the security of the castle.
If there's nothing there, you'll have me to answer to.
I'm sure you'll find something. I'd get my weapon ready if I were you.
If this is another joke, you'll really piss me off.
You mutt. Put that weapon away.
Here you go. Take it.
That should do it. They won't be getting past this. What was that shrieking?
I'm just making a fool of myself.
That should do it. here. A little more here.
Good to see you.
Greetings.
You can't just walk around here without permission.
Blacksmith?
Let me guess. You didn't find any demons?
I'm done looking for them.
There's no need to anyway. You made so much noise the demons all crawled back underground. Christ! To think I'd find a moron who'd buy it 3 times in a row. 3 times!
So you were just wasting my time?
Not at all. Next time your belly starts rumbling, you'll know exactly where to go.
I feel like I've been possessed by a demon, and it's driving me to kick your arse.
Have you lost your sense of humour as well as your sense of smell? Try me, lad. You'll be leaving this castle on a stretcher.
We'll see about that. Nobody makes fun of me.
You're just a whiny, humourless little weakling. And soon enough, you'll have a busted lip. You're mine! Enough! I give up!
Have you had enough?
Fuck! Alright, enough!
I've got half a mind to shove your face in all three of those shitters, but I reckon this'll do.
Aye, I've had enough. God be with you, good sir.
I took care of those demons. They shouldn't be a problem anymore. I didn't see or hear any of them. I reckon it was just rats.
Hopefully things will quieten down again for a while. Most importantly,
I decided to help Ossiner as well, but it didn't exactly end well.
all the quarrels and strife were brought here by the demons. Things should quieten down now.
Anyway, the job is done.
Trotsky Castle, held by Sir Otto von Berghoff, Lord of Billin, Royal Chamberlain of the Kingdom of Bohemia, Chairman of the Provincial Court, Member of the Crown Council, Magistrate of the Peace, Burgrave of Prague, thanks you.
I didn't fight Lucifer like Sir Otto, but even so, the demons should leave you alone. I'm glad I could help.
And I'm glad that all I have left to deal with this month is fixing the stairs, the sedilia, and checking all the chimneys.
You've got a lot to do.
There's always something to do at a big castle like this. Also, don't think you can continue to move freely about the castle. You are hereby stripped of that privilege. Nevertheless, since the minions of hell didn't reach the castle's coffer, nor did they cut into our profits, you deserve a reward. Be with you.
My God, lad. Why are you covered in blood?
I'm here for some horse tack. I hear you have something for me.
Christ, what kind of mess is this again? I've got the tack ready, but I've been ordered to show you our herring first. You can take him, they said. So kindly take a look at him in the stable here and tell me if you want him or not. Be with you, good sir.
I took a look at Herring.
And?
I'll take him.
Good. He ain't the fastest, but he'll work his little heart out, and he'll keep going for fucking ages. And he's a well-behaved, smart animal as well. An honest stock, too. From the Sameen stud farm. Not one of them stolen nags that's seen around these parts. I've heard that wind is blowing from them dodgy nomads.
There are nomads around here.
Aye. I hear their camp is somewhere in the rocks by Rock Tower Pond. They've got horses there. God knows how they came by them.
Well, useful to know. So I can avoid such places.
Well, let's not forget about your horse. He's there in the stables, so go and get him. You do know how to ride, don't you?
Don't worry. I'm right at home with horses. I learned to ride with cumans on my tail, and arrows whistling past my head. A tough school it was.
Well, I'll be damned. I never heard such a thing before. But even an experienced horseman like you needs equipment, as you well know. You can tack him up yourself, right?
Sure. Thanks.
God be with you, good sir.
Good to see you.
Cheers. I hope you have an uneventful shift.
Here you go. Take it.
Which king would that be?
I don't know exactly, but when the king commands, his subjects have to obey.
Good afternoon.
I'm looking for Nickvard. The scribe told me you might know something about him.
Hey, Nick. I mean, Lord Libac. I almost forgot about him. I suppose his task wasn't so pressing. Hmm?
What do you mean, forgot?
Nick Libac, that is, entrusted me with a big task quite a while back. He's a castle lord. Obviously, I had to obey him. But then I heard what another castle lord was planning, von Berghoff, and I had to obey him even more. He says there's a war on. So here I am, ready to go off to battle.
I need to know more about what Nickvard asked you to do.
No. There are new rules now. You have to prove you're not a spy.
I understand, sure. Just tell me what you want, and let's not delay.
A sword.
Sword? What sword?
A long and very good one to help me deal with other spies. If you bring it to me, I'll know you're not an enemy spy who should fear me. Forge one, buy one, or even steal one for me. Maybe from one of the guards at the training ground or down by the gate. During the day, they're not in the towers anyway.
Steal a sword? That sounds like something a spy would do.
Not a spy who wants to help von Bergoff's most loyal servant. By servant, I mean me. See, once I get a sword, I'll fill you in on Nickvard's task.
You wanted a sword? So look at what I got for you.
I don't want an invisible...
Listen, Hirsch.
Don't try any word games on me. Persuasion, threats. I know about them spy tricks. Deeds talk louder than words. For example, like bringing me a sword.
I'll gladly give you some groschen to buy your own sword.
Only spies pay bribe. Unless you had more groschen than a common spy would have. Then I'd believe you ain't one of them. Do you have that much?
I'm not going to pay you that much.
You want to hang on to your spy earning.
I'll think of a way.
Farewell, friend.
What would you like?
Show me your...
Word about the pro...
Well, I was glad to be of help.
Christ. There'll be nothing nice left here at this rate.
Don't worry. When's the last time you saw the bailiff get anything done on time? That tree will still be
About Nick.
Got that... s-
You want...
That's perfect. Lovely. I don't think you're a spy. Can't say for sure, but you seem all right.
What about Nickvard, then?
Nickvard asked me to do something for him. He must have admired my devotion to Lord von Bergoff. Either way, Nick looked troubled and not very healthy. He wanted me to fetch him something he lost outside the castle. And I told him I would. At least I could check to see if anyone was sneaking around about the castle. But then Nickvard clutched his belly and ran off. So I never found out what he wanted, or from where.
That's all.
Aye. If you run into Nickvard, ask him if he still needs it or whether he found it himself. I'll be going into war soon, so I don't have time for these things, see?
I'll tell him. Go! Go! Whoa! Whoa! You must be Nickvard, eh? Poor wretch. Sand-coloured cover, embossed. That'll be the book Crazel wants, but it's quite ordinary. Apart from being covered in shit.
Aye. Someone should keep watch over the body. You silly doggy. It has to be beast.
Advice.
I'll have a look at the...
I have the book for you.
Well, I must admit, I haven't had an apprentice this handy in a long time. Zinnik has nothing on you.
I had a peek inside. The pictures are nice, but what do you want to learn from them?
You'll find out soon enough. Show me that miraculous thing. This really is something. But why is it all covered in shit, for fuck's sake?
Let's just say the scribe didn't have it. It actually wasn't even in the castle. Under it, really.
Oh, refining saltpeter. Boil wine and alum. Grind. Ah, of course, it makes sense. I'll study the rest on the way. Well, the last chapter of our story of knowledge awaits us. The grand finale.
So what now? Do you have another job for me?
Charcoal. Sulfur from Hermes Trismegistos. Saltpeter from the carcass pit. As long as Black Bertolt didn't make any mistakes in his calculations, we have everything.
What Bertolt? Oh, God damn it, Crazer, what's going on here? I'm tired of flying back and forth like a rag on a stick. I won't be led around by the nose. Will you finally tell me what's going on?
Believe it or not, all this secrecy had its reasons. But now I don't have to hide anything from you. It's time. We'll meet with the others in the lair, and there you'll learn the whole truth. You go ahead. I'm going to get a few things ready here.
All right, then. I hope you keep your word this time.
Good morning.
Would you know of any other way to make some extra money?
The only thing you can do in this, but go and ask those woodcutters on the opposite.
Why the wood?
Just, they work.
I think I know.
All their But if you're stupid and first...
Don't you worry.
Greetings to you. Farewell, my friend.
Ja! 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 Whoa! What'll happen now?
Our last supper, with only one but very filling course, awaits us.
Crazel, please. For once, just once, tell me what's actually going on.
And rob myself of enjoying your blissful ignorance? Not a chance. Tell me yourself, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, hopefully I'll finally find out what the point of all this was.
Or not. Until you try another dose of niter.
I wouldn't do that to him. Not today. Bonnie will start today. At least I'll finally see if she understood my teachings. Bonnie?
First of all, I'd like to thank you on behalf of the whole gang for all the work you've done. We could never have finished the job without you. We found 2 new partners, you and Monarch here. It's good to have someone to rely on. So, it's time we started being honest with you, so you can finally learn the whole truth.
Not yet. Let's pull up that uppity bastard's leg a bit longer. That's the fun part!
Never mind him. Speak.
All right, then. This whole time, you've been collecting ingredients and clues for us. But, so you wouldn't go nosing around, we always told you it was for something different than it actually was.
The miller here calls it tackets.
Tactics, you idiot. And everything worked out according to plan. So today we're finally close to our great success. With the help of Hermes Trismegistos and his successors, we'll finally complete the dream of all alchemists. Our Magnum Opus.
Exactly, Bonnie.
Magnum Opus. A great work of alchemy. You're trying to make the Philosopher's Stone.
I see you've learned something after all. But no, the Philosopher's Stone isn't our goal.
Let's see then, Henry. What is it you think we're making here?
Some kind of weapon?
Well, Henry's not too far from the truth after all, don't you think? Actually, he's pretty spot on. Although weapons were our last order of business. Let's start at the beginning. My father was a miller as well, but I was never much interested in the trade. Even as a young boy, I loved running around Lower Samine and investigating everything living and dead. And I had a lot of questions about everything. Then my mother, God rest her soul, decided it'd be best for me to go to study in Prague. As soon as I grew up and gained a bit of sense, I packed my bags and left.
So you went to a university in Prague? The son of a miller?
Why not? My father worked his arse off, and he had the coin for it, miller or not. I met a lot of remarkable people at the university, and my thirst for knowledge kept growing. But in the end, it only took a year of all that pretentious, scholarly blathering and hypocritical nonsense for me to realize I wouldn't learn anything proper there. Most of the students and masters are just a bunch of dogmatic fools. They have their own truth, and those who want to know more or ask the wrong questions fall into disfavor, as was my case.
So they kicked you out?
I didn't give them the pleasure. I left myself. The most important science is not subject to any religious dogma. And, of course, it's not taught at any university.
You mean alchemy?
Exactly. The art of combination and dissolution. The key to understanding the very nature of the world. There's only one queen of science. Alchemy. I returned to the mill in Lower Samine and started a new life.
What did your parents say when you returned from your studies?
My mother had already passed away. All my father said was, "I knew you'd be back." And he sent me to haul sacks of flour. I think in the end he was glad to have someone to take over the mill from him. From then on, alchemy became my true passion. I brought a few important books from Prague. I started with the most difficult thing. I tried to create gold.
That was pretty daring of you.
As you might expect, it didn't work. But after a few tries, I managed to create something entirely different. Once I tried mixing sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter. I had a candle burning next to me. A gust of wind scattered the mixture, and all of a sudden, bang! I almost shit myself, I tell you. But then I realized I'd unwittingly created a miracle. Explosive black powder.
So I was right. You're making weapons.
No, it's about much more than that. We're all in on it now.
I couldn't continue my experiments on my own, but Bonnie and Zinnig did a few little jobs for me.
So he initiated us.
But we just still didn't know how to do it right and not blow ourselves up in the process.
And we used up a huge amount of saltpeter and sulfur.
By the way, the manuscript from that Hermes Trismegistos was our shopping list and price list for material from Kuttenberg.
Only we didn't know correct proportions. I looked up a few of my former fellow students and brought it up with them. And we found out that before us, some monk had already made the discovery.
Some fella called Black Bertold, and that he even started writing a book called Feuerwehr.
Feuerwerkbuch.
We can believe our luck when we found out there's a copy of it right here at Trotsky.
And you know the rest.
It's a discovery that will change history. In the right hands, it can make miracles happen. All it takes is a spark, and a storm of fire will sweep away the old world order. It will wipe out stupidity and ignorance, once and for all.
And what will happen now?
As I said, we're about to have our last supper on our journey to satisfy our hunger for knowledge. A feast of smoke and fire. Black Bertold never finished his book, because he never had enough ingredients for his last great experiment. But now, thanks to you, we do. We can finally finish Bertold's work and finish his book. We'll see with our own eyes what a barrel of black powder can do. I hope you're as excited as I am.
Before we get started, this book, Feuerwerkbuch, what's written in it?
Everything you'd want to know about black powder. How to mix it in the proper ratio. How to store it. How to light it properly. And especially how to use it in warfare. Because that's the most important part, after all.
Do you really need that much saltpeter?
We do. Saltpeter makes up almost 3/4 of the mixture. Not even all the cows in the region could produce enough for us once we really get started with manufacturing.
What is it you're going to do with this powder?
During wartime, like it is now, a flammable and explosive mixture like this has more uses than you can imagine. If we had a few big barrels of the stuff, we could demolish Trotsky if we wanted to. And maybe we will.
All of us here are truly passionate about the idea of a new world. And now it's within our grasp.
What is it you studied at the university?
I was supposed to become a preacher.
That fits you. Maybe you'd even be a good preacher.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't.
God has a path prepared for each of us. And each of us here decided not to follow it.
I was supposed to be a dyer, but I was too lazy to work 6 days a week and soak my hands in lye.
I was supposed to become a nun, but I didn't want to give up the booze and fellas.
And I've already told you everything. The world is what you make it.
How did a scholar and an alchemist become a thief?
Prague is a big city, and a poor student has no chance of getting a decent place to sleep or even something to eat. Learning to shop with 5 fingers was the first requirement for survival. We're all masters of our own destiny.
I've heard enough. Now I want to see that with my own eyes.
Let's do it then. Bonnie, is everything ready?
Indeed it is. We can get started. Long live the beautiful new world.
Looks like it ain't working.
I'd say it works just fine.
This will change history.
What? I can't hear a thing. But I'd say it works just fine.
Instead of mixing this stuff.
As long as you listen to me and keep important.
I might actually listen to you if my ears ever stop ringing.
Black powder? Well, now.
You didn't expect that, eh?
I'm not so stupid that I wouldn't realise you're not just milling wheat here.
Bollocks. But it is true, you did guess right that we was making weapons. Anyways, I hope the miller gives us a bit of extra coin now things has finally worked out.
Ah, in the worst case, you can go back to licking the walls of pigsties.
But next time you'll be coming with me. Take care, friend.
Why do you work for the miller?
Well, how can I put it? Anywhere else they'd have kicked me out by now. The miller's the last person who'd still give me a job. He says every idiot is of some use at least.
And you see that as a compliment?
I see a coin in my hand every week. That's all I care about.
What did you do before you started working for the miller?
A bit of this, a bit of that. When I was still a boy, I stirred lye at a tannery, and then I slaved away at a dye house. But since I came to the town, it's been, well, let's say not exactly honest work. But that's what I'm best at, see?
What do you think of Crazel?
Is this some kind of test or what? I can think what I want, and I keep my opinion to myself. And you ought to do the same. Farewell.
Why do you work for the miller?
Because he pays well and don't care how much coin I make on the side.
You mean by stealing?
And he doesn't ask any stupid questions.
What did you do before?
I got by any way I could. Believe it or not, I started in a convent.
You? A nun? Well, why not? I was in the cloisters myself for a while.
Oh well, different people have different fates. But we all ended up here anyway, in the armpit of the world.
What do you think about Crazel?
You're another one of those that don't know if they should love him or hate him, eh? Crazel is his own man. Once you learn to get along with him, you can't help but admire him a bit. But sometimes he's unbearable as soon as he opens his mouth.
Black powder? I'd never have expected that from Crazel.
Imagine, that monarch of ours is half deaf.
That dog of yours? What does that have to do with the gunpowder magazine?
Just that I was wondering that the explosions didn't bother him at all. At least he won't suffer here. And now I'm not surprised he was so unhappy with that bastard Vaisarek. Hey, how did you know what we were actually doing?
I didn't exactly.
But you said weapons. How did you find out? Did we let it slip somehow?
The moment you started dealing with saltpeter, I thought you might be making arrowheads out of those crystals.
Sakra. That means it's all on me. I told Crazel we should use the story about the butchers and say less about the golem. Anyway, you did a damn fine job. You deserve a nickname from me, like I promised. We're going to call you Sourdough.
Sourdough?
Well, when you came here, you were kind of unrefined, grey, nothing much. But as you gained experience, you rose and rose until you've risen into a companion we need not be ashamed of. Take care then, Sourdough, and come back and visit sometime.
We've been through a lot together. Will you finally tell me more about yourself?
Have you not grown tired of all this constant questioning? I've told you plenty already. And if I left something out, It was for a good reason.
Well, I know about the university, the alchemy, your desire to change the world, but I don't know anything about you as a person.
That's a question I'd like to know the answer to myself. To find yourself, and who you really are. Isn't that the only true meaning of life?
You really led me on about the gunpowder magazine, didn't you? A golem made of dough, souls inside saltpeter, the secrets of light and shadow. That was all just empty talk, wasn't it?
Not exactly. It's all based on the real philosophy of the Jewish Kabbalah. I studied the writings of Bonaventura and Dietrich von Freiberg, but it was never in my interest to put their theories into practice. But they work brilliantly as a cover-up, don't you think?
I really thought you'd have a golem made from dough walking around the mill, or that I could become invisible.
Ah, but black powder is no less a miraculous creation.
So for the last time, Crazel, what now?
I'll do what I promised, and what will most likely be my fate. I'm going to gather together all the knowledge I've acquired and finish Black Berthold's book. I'll finish his opus.
Uh-huh. And what about me?
That's up to you, Henry. You're a free man. Lure Samin has no hold over you, and never did. You know, the inevitability of God's plan takes no interest in people like you and me. We'll always be little people, beneath it all.
That sounds somehow hopeful in a peculiar way, I'd say. Now I'm even happier about the great thing we've accomplished here.
The ideal conclusion, I'd say. Maybe it's time to carry sacks at a different mill. But if you're still interested in learning a bit more, drawing from the well of alchemical knowledge...
I know where to find you.
Indeed. The fuse didn't catch immediately.
I told you this.
Good thing you're here, Henry. I've got something for you.
From Semi?
Not this time. It's from the charcoal burners. They said you spared them, and they wanted to pay you back. It's not much, but it's all they could scrounge up.
I didn't expect that at all. I thought I'd never see them again.
See? Folk can surprise you.
Do you know who's next?
Well, if you've got the time, I know where you can find Johnny the Gob.
I've got time to go after him.
I see.
Look, it seems you're not too keen on getting him. You knew him better than the others, didn't you?
Knew him? Johnny was my right-hand man. Can't even count how many times we saved each other's asses. And now his is in a sling.
What should I bring back this time?
His shield, I reckon. There's no other like it.
Where can I find the Gob?
You know what's funny? If I hadn't sent him out on an errand just before you got to Apollonia, you'd have got us both.
Where did you send him?
Just a little ways off, to the bank of Rock Tower Pond. There's an abandoned hut there, from what I've heard. He and his people are still there.
Why did you send him to a hut by the pond?
Another band ambushed a noble's retinue there. We wanted to see if anything got left behind.
I know exactly where it is. I was in that group they attacked.
You were, eh? Then you were bloody lucky to come out of it alive. The ones that attacked you ain't any ordinary footpads. They weren't there for the silver.
What did they want then?
Lord knows, lad. Some higher goal, I reckon. Those types are the worst.
What's the Gob like? Tell me about him.
What can I tell you? He's just the best. He's a mountain of a man. A hell of a warrior. Bloody smart, too. But he's too old and too proud to give up on his craft and go and rest on his laurels. I like the bloke. I really do. He deserves to die in peace, with a woman in his arms, not being hunted down like some vermin.
How many men did you send with him?
7 of our most experienced. And well-armed.
I've heard enough.
Henry, wait. I have a favor to ask of you. You know, Johnny was a stand-up bloke, and it would be a shame to kill him. What's more, he's a fair bit older than me, and he has a bum leg. It would be dishonourable to kill someone like that, you know.
Wait. So you want me to let him go?
Not so loud. I know Samin wants them all dead, but I beg you, don't kill him.
But if I let him live, I risk not only my arse, but yours and his as well.
Aye. But he doesn't deserve the same death as those whoresons Charlie and Canker. Unlike those other bastards, Johnny never betrayed me. Surely I don't have to explain to you how rare that is among bandits.
Well, I'm still not too sure about it, but I'll try. Though I'll save my skin before I save his. So if he doesn't surrender, I won't have a choice.
Of course. But I'm glad you'll consider it.
Whoa!
Drags on too long. It usually spells trouble.
Too right.
Whoa!
Now you're gonna die! Show your stuff! Ha! No
You've no chance against me!
Fucking cowards! So he's a sword fighter, eh? Enough! I give up! Show what you're made of!
You're a dead man! You know that!
Cut the bullshit and fight!
You can't take me!
We'll see about that! I'm all yours! What do you want? I yield.
Surrender. It's not worth it.
All right. I surrender.
Finally, you've come to your senses. I didn't come here to kill you.
No? Then what the hell do you want from me?
You need to get out of here and never come back.
Why? Why would you let me live?
Thank Jules for that. He asked me to spare you. Unlike the rest of your mates.
That old git. So, Samin got to him after all. Well, it was to be expected. I knew there would come a time when we'd be standing on opposite sides. But for him to put a good word in for me like that... Thanks, lad.
Don't mention it. But I'll need your shield as proof.
Right, here you go.
And another thing. Gules told me he sent you to take a look around here. Did you find anything left over from the ambush?
Unfortunately not. Everything of value was already gone. A few fellas were still searching the place.
Wait, you caught them there?
Aye. There were some sort of guards. One of my men followed them all the way to their camp. Here in the cliffs, over the pond.
Fine. That's enough for me. Now you should get going. You can't show your face here in the region again. Otherwise you'd land both me and Gules in hot water. Whoa!
I'm gonna teach you a lesson, asshole! We're under attack! I surrender! I surrender! Let me go, please!
Drop your weapon and leave.
Here you go. Now keep your word. I'm going. Take it easy.
The gob was right. They really are the ones who ambushed me and Capon. These are our things.
Good afternoon.
I took out the gob's band.
Well. Nice work, lad. And what about the, request I made? Did you think about it, at least?
I did what you asked.
Bloody hell, lad. You surprised me.
Surprised?
Aye. That you actually listened to me. It's hard to surprise an old goat like me. But you managed it. And you took his shield?
I've got it.
Aye. That's it.
If it's all the same to you...
It's yours, Henry. I wanted to keep it as a reminder of the good times I had with Johnny. But I reckon it's enough to know he's still alive.
Thanks. What now? Who's the last one?
I saved the worst one for last. Casper. Only you'll have to wait a few days before I find him. Take care for now.
Well, should we set off for Nabokov? I don't think I could tolerate another day under one roof with that idiot Schomburg.
Ah, fuck him. We're here on account of von Bergov. I have a feeling he won't be giving him a pat on the back either for the way he treated us.
I suppose you're right. But I won't be fucking humiliated. A jump-top tosser like that isn't going to get high-handed with the Lord of Perkstein.
I agree. Although, the Lord of Perkstein can also act pretty haughty at times.
Look, I know I behaved like an idiot, but...
Nah, don't worry about it. It's water under the bridge.
I'm in your debt. Talking of debts, there's one more we need to settle. Both of us. That herbwoman, Bozhena, really helped us after that ambush. If it hadn't been for her, we wouldn't have survived.
Aye. You're right.
I gave her my word. And the word of a noble must be kept, as we both know.
Don't worry about it. I took care of it on behalf of both of us.
You did? My word, Henry. You are a true Bellator. Only half by birth, but your heart is filled with blue blood.
Thanks, Hans.
How is she getting on, actually? I hope she hasn't had any trouble on account of us.
Well, not on account of us, no. But... well, it's a complicated story. And not a pleasant one.
Jesus. I'm sorry to hear that. But right now, I'm not in the mood for sad stories. You can tell me another time, but now Nabokov awaits us. It's high time we set out so we can get back before nightfall. Carpe diem.
I'm ready.
Let's mount up then. Sky, I was feeling really cramped in those gloomy corridors up there. But I can't deny, this is a real fucking castle. I've never seen anything like it before. Perkstein is just a little fortress in comparison. Von Bergov certainly knows how to make an impression.
Well, it didn't look so great from inside that dungeon. That's a view I hope I won't be seeing again.
I couldn't agree more. Fuck. This place makes me feel queasy. Memento mori. I could have croaked here and gone off to join my old man in eternity. God rest his soul, and he'd ask me, "So, son, what great deeds have you achieved in life?" And I'd have to tell him, "Well, Pa, I fucked everything up royally, and then they hanged me for poaching." Christ on a stick! I can't have that! When I go to the next life, I need to have something better to tell. A whole lot better.
I reckon it'll be some time yet before you go to the next life and face judgment. Audentes fortuna juvat, remember?
Or I've got a guardian angel by the name of Henry.
It's a shame I lost my flaming sword, though.
Damn it. I need to get my mind on other things and get the feeling I'm living. Let's really spur these horses on, eh? What'd you say?
How can I refuse you anything?
There's a junction beyond Troskovitz with a roadside chapel. Whoever reaches it first wins. So, get ready. Forward!
Quick! Quick!
Race with the wind!
Go! Quick!
Give it all you've got!
Gah!
Go! Ja! Just a bit further. Whoa!
Christ, yeah. Oh, I needed that. My head feels a lot clearer now.
I'm glad to hear it.
Thanks for riding with me, old pal.
Think nothing of it. But watch out next time. I won't hold back.
You never give up. That's what I like most about you.
So, what now, Hans?
Like I say, I can see everything clearer now. And the thing that's clearest to me is I won't be trifled with anymore. I'm the Lord of fucking Perkstein. Let everyone know who they have the honor of addressing.
I'm with you on that, noble sir.
Splendid. So, forward to Nabokov. The sooner we get that out of the way, the sooner we can finally start dealing with more important matters. O dentes fortuna juvat! We turn right here.
I'm glad you feel better.
So am I, my friend. So am I. We still have lots to do before we go back to Ratai. And I was afraid, you know, that I'd fuck it up. And I almost did, but I'm not afraid anymore. Now I see it as an opportunity and a challenge. Any old fool can manage simple tasks, but hard ones, they require a man like Sir Hans Capon of Lipa and Perkstein.
And Henry of Skalitz.
Aye, he faces the hardest tasks of all.
I was thinking about our mission. What do you think of our prospects with von Burgon?
Well, we haven't got off to the best start, have we? But I'll do everything in my power to ensure we succeed. Hanush, Radzig and Jobst are depending on us. If they thought it was a lost cause, they wouldn't have sent me. They'd have sent, you know, someone less important. That's diplomacy in a nutshell. If you're serious about something, you send someone important to add gravity and show respect.
Then why am I here?
Maybe it's already known that you're Radzig's son and ward. So not just Hanush, but Radzig too sent someone important to him. That speaks for itself.
Interesting idea. I like it. I feel a bit better. Like I belong somewhere and can do something big.
Exactly. Nobility brings responsibility. Never forget that. Nabokov is not far now. The fortress stands on a rocky outcrop. We'll have to go round. So we should be careful. Our mission will be taking us around a pond, and we know what happened last time. So get ready. As soon as we cross the stream, we'll give the horses a gallop again. Nice fortress. I like the way it's concealed. Nicely situated on an outcrop, with a mighty tower and only one approach road. Easy to defend, with a view of the whole valley and its approaches. A well-chosen site.
Hearing you spout wisdom is entertaining, but not enough to make me forget my ass is sore. It's a good thing we're almost there.
Sacre, Henry, I sure ride like this, and you've had enough. I was just thinking about heading off to see the world once we've sent Sigismund packing and restored order in the land. I'd like to visit the Holy Land, for instance, and kneel before the Holy Sepulchre. I'd bring back earth from Golgotha for the family tomb, to improve Father's prospects in the hereafter. Whew. So you'd better toughen up that arse of yours, so you can make it to Constantinople at least, without whining.
Are you an expert on fortress construction?
You could say that. It's part of a nobleman's and a warrior's upbringing. Hanish forced me to listen to those teachings from Bernard and others, and I'm glad he did. When I think about it, unquestionably learning feeds a man's soul, but right now my belly needs feeding. So I hope Sir Yaramir is well stocked. Von Bergov's morning feast set a high bar, after all. Can you see what I see? Fuck! What a lot of horses. They must have cost a fortune. Perhaps he married off his daughter well. Or Von Bergov is paying Nabak a tidy annuity. Quiet from us.
So, we're here. What now, Sir Hans?
Now, I expect someone will come to greet us. And hopefully not like they did in Trotsky.
Hey! So Yaramir don't receive visitors. You'll have to leave.
I beg your pardon. See to it that he receives me immediately.
Can't be done. Sorry about that.
I am Sir Hans Capon of Lipa, and I am here with a message from Lord von Bergov. So get to it. And if you keep me waiting here much longer, you'll be sorry.
Please be patient for a while, sir.
My word. You got a sharp tongue sometimes. But what if he won't receive us?
He will. Just wait and see.
Come along. Sir Yaramir will be here any moment.
See?
The Lord Jesus Christ be praised.
Forever and ever.
Please excuse our precautions, gentlemen. These are evil times. Well then, Yaramir of Nabokov at your service. And whom do I have the honor of welcoming to my humble seat?
Sir Hans Capon of Perkstein. I am honored, Sir Yaramir. Sir Otto von Bergov asked me to convey to you his cordial greetings, and to parley with you in the matter of the security of this domain.
Certainly, certainly. These are troubled times indeed. Please accept my hospitality, sir. You're surely thirsty after your journey, and you'll have greater comfort in the tower.
An excellent idea. If I may ask that our horses may not be neglected either.
Pelzel, you heard his lordship.
But I've already got 15 animals to deal with. Why doesn't Hurtle do it?
Hurtle has other duties. Stop griping and get to it.
15 horses? My word, sir. You must be doing all right for yourself.
Not entirely. But fortune smiled on me for once at least.
On me too, one could say. I suppose she's doing the rounds in these parts. So, tell me, sir, how did you achieve what you have?
Well, it's a long, complicated story. But I'm guessing von Berkhoff didn't send you here to find out how well off I am. Or did he?
No, he didn't. I apologize, Sir Yaramir. So, let's proceed to the real reason he sent us. Henry, be prepared. I won't keep Sir Yaramir very long.
Certainly.
Michael, you take Henry here under your wing and make sure he's well taken care of.
Certainly. Henry, eh? Michael's my name, and I welcome you to our little place. It's not the fanciest fortress ever, but you know, I like it here. It serves us well. How was your journey? All good?
Aye. Lovely country. A feast for the eyes.
Well, that's nice to hear, especially from someone from far-off parts. But I must say, my throat is dry. And maybe yours too, eh? Come along with me. We'll soon fix that. I'll make you feel at home and we can have a chat. As I said, the fortress may be small, but the work never stops. Right now, we're repairing the fortifications down there, so don't get under the lad's feet. But you can drop in on Pelzel and check how he's looking after your horses. We're rolling some dice, eh? We've got none of guesswork, so don't all be shy. Invite him to play if he finds himself at a loose end. At least he'll show you how your betters play.
Right you are, Michael. You can rely on me.
And you, Ertel, have you got shit for brains? You've got a guess, for fuck's sake.
I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't know.
Shut your gob and attend to your duties.
Right, I'm going.
So you've
You're
heard
a kind
then.
master.
I hope you won't disappoint Sverk and pass some time with him.
I'd love to have a game.
Glad to hear it. You're a good lad. I can tell just by looking at you. Sverk has some polished badges. I'm sure he'd love to take a look at yours. You'll find him over there at the table. He's there pretty much all day. I'll keep telling him. Your arse will wear a hole down the ale one day, and you'll fall down in it. Dice and all. But now to the important business. There's a bite to eat on the table and something to wash it down with, so help yourself. And I'll be happy to chew the fat. I'm sure you've got loads of stories. I heard Lord von Berghoff himself sent you. So, what has he sent you with?
He's calling his loyal men to arms, to fight back against the bandits running rampant in the region.
Now you're talking. It's about time. They've been causing trouble around these parts as well. How many men does Lord von Berghoff have?
He's got some, but definitely less than he'd like to. That's why we're here.
Well, hopefully enough. I bet my left nut Lord Yaromir will send me. Tell me one thing, though, because I can't wrap my head around it. Why didn't von Berghoff send one of his own instead of some Lord of Perkstein and his escort?
Well, I suppose he wanted to show respect to Lord Yaromir. So he didn't send just anyone.
Ah, the way of the nobles. Not something I know much about, but you do, it seems. So your master, Lord Capon of Perkstein, is somehow significant.
Well, the Lords of Liper are a large house. Among them, Capon is pretty insignificant.
That must piss him off, eh? I wonder how many more of his relatives will have to pass on before he gets something worthwhile.
Nah, well, I never looked into it.
And you're his what? Page? Servant?
His escort. I give advice when he asks for it, but mostly I take care of his security.
Fair enough. I get it. I used to travel with Lord Yaromir, but he barely travels these days, so I don't get out much.
Lord Capon is always getting up to something.
Well, I envy you a bit. But hey, we've had a nice chat. And since you're here, what would you say to a bit of a friendly duel? You've got time to kill, and me too. Let's do something to shorten it. We can do something dignified. We'll clash arms for the glory of our masters. You for yours, me for mine.
I accept your offer. I'd fight for Lord Capon any time and any place.
Then you're the right man in the right place. Get your kit ready, and we can get stuck in.
I don't want to pry, Michael, but Sir Yaromir said he had some luck with horses. That sounds interesting.
Nothing interesting about it. His lordship's affairs are a long story, and a dull one at that.
Well, if there's one thing Lord Capon taught me, it's that noblemen's affairs are never dull.
If you insist, well, you're in for a disappointment. There's nothing interesting about it. Sir Yaromir had these relatives, and they died, God rest their souls, and his lordship inherited some land, but they couldn't give it to him or something, so they gave him horses instead, to make up the amount owed. See? Complicated, ends all. But all above board.
No, you were right. That's nobleman's business for you.
Just so.
Let's do it, Michael.
You don't have to ask twice. We've got some blunt old weapons for practice here, so we'll use them. We don't want to hack each other to pieces, do we?
That's sensible.
We'll do it in the little courtyard behind the gate. Tell me what weapon you want, and we'll get cracking.
Give me a longsword.
You must fancy yourself a master swordsman. I can't wait to see what you can do with it. Give me a moment. I'll put my gear on.